Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Mile High Game Guys board gaming podcast. I'm your host Adrian.
I'm Zach.
And I'm Jeff.
And it's the new year, 2019, first episode of the year. Sponsored as always on Wednesday episodes by Gray Fox Games. We made it, guys. We are now in another year.
We survived our New Year's activities.
Presumably.
Presumably.
Or this is just an in memoriam.
An in memoriam episode.
Yeah. The last thing the Mile High Game Guys ever recorded before the tragic, frosty, cold 2-degree New Year's Eve.
Yes. Before the laptop died, and then we just called it.
Yeah.
Also likely.
Megan gave me some water, and she handed it to me right near the laptop, and I was just like, oh, almost expecting her to just be like, here you go, and then just dumps
Sploosh.
it into the, yep.
Oh, I guess you guys can't record today.
I guess you guys are free.
Yep. And then it's like,
Jeff, go enjoy Christmas with Katie. Zach, go drive. I get to hang out with Adrian now.
yep.
Yeah. So how was you guys' holidays? Jeff, this is the first time we've had you back in the studio since you went to Chicago.
Yes.
Chi-Town.
Yeah.
Chi-Town?
Yeah.
What's the preferred nomenclature on CHI Town?
Chicago.
But what if I want to be really douchey about it?
Then you be the douche you need to be.
So I always know, aside from the fact that, you tell us when you're going to Chicago so we can plan episodes and things, I always know you're in Chicago. I know you've arrived safely when one of the group chats that we're in, whether it's Slack or just the regular text message or Hangouts or whatever, there's always something about Portillo's.
Yes.
And just in your face.
Immediately.
Yeah.
As the only time, for the first time in years that I didn't get Portillo's on the way back home from the airport was when I came super late / early in the morning on Thanksgiving Day. I got in at like 1:30 in the morning, so it was closed. So I could not get Portillo's that day.
You didn't like just stand right in front of it and just,
Just camp out.
yep.
Just face and hands spread on the glass.
On the very cold glass.
No. But yes, I went and got...
Now this time, did you learn about something new? And like Paul criticized your menu choice or something.
Oh, it was the last time I was there, I had a Italian beef and sausage combo for the first time, which I had never gotten before. I had never gotten their Italian sausage, which, I mean, everything they have is good, so of course that's going to be good too. But I finally got, it's a Italian sausage with Italian beef, shredded beef on it. I did not get that this time because I want to survive the rest of my life without a heart attack. But I got the regular beef this time.
Okay.
But Paul is apparently a stern fan of the Italian beef sausage combo.
Yes, he is.
I got a beer at Portillo's for the first time.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is it because they've recently added beer or just in the past you've never...
I just never gotten beer there. I was with my mom. She got beer. I got beer. They come in goblets, like the old Mike goblets.
Yes.
Yeah, like a chalice. A very thick, heavy, frosted glass chalice.
Yeah, where I went to college, where I got the Mike chalice, they were called schooners.
Okay.
Apparently up in the UP where Megan went to college, they call them shoops.
Shoops.
And they're very popular ways for college students to get a lot of booze into their body.
Interesting. An interesting vessel choice.
Yes. It's quite a workout,
Yeah. They're heavy.
Yeah. The glass alone is quite heavy, and then you fill it with beer, and it's also quite top heavy.
Yeah.
So beer goes interesting places.
Yeah. I got a Leinenkugel.
Gross.
All right.
Meh.
I didn't get any of the flavored crap.
Oh, still. Did you get to play much in the... Well, I guess we'll cover that.
We'll cover that later.
We'll cover that. We'll come to that.
Quick answer, no.
But overall, good trip. Everything's smooth.
Yeah, ate way too much food, as is tradition.
Yeah, that's what you do when you go home.
Lots of dinners, second dinners, like snacks, sugar, pistachios, or not pistachios, walnuts?
I don't...
Sugar-coated walnuts?
I have no idea.
That sounds right. Pecans.
Pecans
Are what the nut of choice that I'm trying to think of.
Okay. It took a while for you to get there.
Yeah, it sure did.
Yeah.
Pecans and walnuts look similar.
I guess.
Yeah.
Not really a nut guy. So, Zach, what about you? How was your holiday week and a half off of the podcast? Which for you and I wasn't really off of the podcast because we still had to record or still had to edit.
Yeah. including what on that Tuesday.
Yeah.
So Christmas Day at like 10:40, you saw me on Steam playing a game, and you're like,
the episode comes out tomorrow, right?
And I was like, no, I had forgotten. Because I remember I was like on Monday, I was like, oh yeah, we already recorded it on Tuesday. And last, and I was
Thursday.
Like, Thursday, and then the one on Monday too.
Yeah.
It's like, sweet, don't have to worry about that. That didn't mean we edited it, but
sure did record it.
Yeah, we did. Luckily, it was a shorter episode, so I didn't have to worry about it taking too long. But no, most of the time driving. Got Indian for lunch, which was good.
Nice.
On Christmas Day, right?
Yeah. And then which they apparently raised the price of the buffet because it was Christmas.
Just on Christmas?
On Christmas. They're like, due to Christmas, this is cost extra. I was like, okay, well, luckily we weren't doing that. We were just ordering. And then we had a roast for dinner. And then binge watched a shitload of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. We are now in the 5th season, which is the only one my roommate hasn't seen now. So we should be all caught up for January 10th when season 6 comes out.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I also failed to mention that I binge watched the entirety of Man in the High Castle while on vacation.
That's a lot of binge watching to do on vacation.
It was 30 episodes.
It's like hour-long episodes, right?
Yeah.
So you spent a day and a half-ish of your vacation just watching Man in the High Castle.
Correct. On
Nice.
a couch.
Nice.
Eating pecans.
I was just now question, is it just handfuls at a time or one at a time?
It's usually one.
Okay.
Yeah, one at a time. And then there's these like pretzels that my grandmother makes that I'm not sure how to make them, but they're kind of like ranch pretzels almost.
Okay.
Like, yeah, cool ranch pretzels.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, if you could wrap a taco in that,
Yeah.
now I'm not interested.
What if we put it in a pizza and then put some vegetarian chili in a tote bag for you?
Yeah, right. Good old Taco Town.
Taco Town.
Taco Town.
That is a
Taco
really,
Town.
really early Andy Samberg.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, he looked very young.
Yeah. Baby
Do yourself a favor. Google Taco Town SNL if you don't know what we're talking about.
It's pretty great.
Yeah.
And then just a lot of driving so far. Unsurprisingly, I didn't get many drives on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. And so I've been playing catch up on a lot of that. So
It actually does kind of surprise me because I actually had to drive somewhere on Christmas Day, and I was surprised both ways at the amount of traffic. Like, people were clearly moving around on Christmas Day, but it's
under their own power, clearly.
To be fair, I didn't actually work at all on Christmas Day. So
I see.
Yeah.
So you didn't get a lot of rides, but it was due to lack of trying, not despite lack
on Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, it was just didn't get any rides.
Dry.
Gotcha.
I went and got a flat on my car before I went on vacation.
Yeah.
And then
when you came back, you had more trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because then I went to go change out the tire now that I'm back, and then broke a lug bolt off of my hub. So I got to get that fixed now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get it together, Jeff.
Yep.
Life just seems to hate
you. Should just
Jeff.
stop touching things. Just let other people deal with it. And then
Yeah, I'll just hire out the needs that I require.
I mean, I'm sure it would have cost you less than having
It would have cost you
replace-
less to have somebody come change your tire for you than to replace your own stud. And if they broke the stud, then you could be like, "What'd you do?"
Yeah.
It's their fault.
Yeah.
My holidays were pretty laid back. The only thing I did was on Christmas Day went to my great aunt's house for some Christmas lunch with some of the extended family. We were there for a little bit, and then Megan had to work Christmas night, so we took off and got out of there. And then this past Saturday, we actually drove out to my grandma's house, like 2 hours away to go see them because they hadn't got to see as much of the family as they wanted to for the holidays. And so we thought we'd be nice and go out there. Plus, they have a big, hundreds of acres of land. And so we can just be like, Jester, go. And she just chases rabbits for
Jester,
hours.
just don't bother us for a while.
Yes. And so she gets to chase a lot of rabbits and then sleeps so good the entire drive back to Denver and then the next 24 hours. So it's great.
Then chases a raccoon up a tree.
No, I mean, that was before we went out there, but yes. And to be fair, she actually did not chase the raccoon up the tree.
The raccoon was in the tree.
The raccoon was in the tree. She never even noticed. Despite me sitting there staring at it, taking photos of it, and shining a flashlight on it, she just kept bashing my shins with a stick, trying to get me to play fetch with her. I was like, Jester, there's a giant rodent thing in this tree. I don't know if raccoons are technically rodents or not.
I don't think so.
I mean, I feel like they got to be pretty close to a rodent. They're not far removed from that branch, I wouldn't think.
Probably not.
But yeah, there's a big raccoon in my neighbor's tree. Yeah, but fairly uneventful holidays, a lot of relaxing. Nothing too exciting there. I did play, moving on to kind of what we've been playing. Not quite board games yet, video games. You'll remember, dear listener, I mentioned previously that I had received Red Dead Redemption 2 as an early Christmas gift. Well, I have fallen deep into a Red Dead hole. I've played a ton of Red Dead Redemption, which also got me to when I'm not playing Red Dead Redemption, when I'm like playing PC games, I am now watching Westerns on Netflix or Vudu or whatever. Like I'm fully absorbed into the Western lifestyle right now. I'm surprised I'm not wearing Spurs at the moment.
I think Amazon Prime has all the Eastwood old man with no name Westerns on there right now.
Yeah.
I was looking at those as well as someone that has liked Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah. I watched the remake of True Grit with
Jeff
Bridges and the young girl who I just recently learned was also the same girl from Pitch Perfect 2 and 3 and the new Spider-Man.
Haley Stayfield, something like that.
She was apparently 13 when she shot True Grit, which that is an amazing performance from a 13-year-old. Thoroughly impressed. But yeah, been enjoying that. True, Red Dead's really good. I do really like it, but at the same time, sometimes it's a little slow.
A lot of times it's a little slow.
So just a ton of riding across the plains, not really doing much.
The game wants you to play at its pace.
Yes.
Very much so.
I will say, however, that all of the complaints I heard about how long it takes to skin things is ridiculous. Like, it's funny, Megan, like, the first time I killed a bear in the game was, like, on the hunt where you hunt a legendary bear as part of the storyline. And I killed it, and I was skinning it, and Megan had, like, watched me fight it. And she was like, why are you killing that bear? And I was like, because the game tells me to.
Because it's an objective.
Yeah, like... Normally, I wouldn't mess with the great old scarred grizzly. I'd let him live his awesome life, but the game told me to kill him, so I'm killing him. But
you can get a cool hat.
Yeah, which I did.
Yeah,
but I skinned him, and like he's like, and then bundle, boom, and like I can see where some people are like, oh man, that takes forever. It's like several different motions.
They do cut in between there, and different stages are now complete.
But Megan goes, what? That's not how fast it takes to skin a bear. And then like later I killed a deer and she's like, I've actually been present when a deer was skinned. It takes much longer than that. We're like, yeah, well, you know.
People are comparing it a lot to the first one where it was just like, boop, boop, done, boop, boop, done.
Yes.
Or Assassin's Creed Odyssey, you're riding by horseback and bear skin.
You just pick it up with your spear.
Yep.
Yes. By video game standard, it is ages.
Yes.
But compared to real life skinning of an animal, it is darn quick.
Well, no shit. So, all right, well, I'm just going to set this down and watch as it takes an hour plus for him to skin it.
A lot less blood, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I like it. It's a good game.
Yeah, I hit chapter 4.
I think it must be 3.
Still haven't played it.
Yeah.
I'm at the first of the new camps. Like we came out of the mountains of the first camp, and then now we're at the second camp.
It's still like chapter 1.
Really?
Yeah. Maybe chapter 2.
But my save file says I'm like 33% complete.
Maybe story missions.
Which still seems far along.
Yes.
For how long I've been playing.
Yeah.
To already be a third of the way through the story.
Yeah.
But
yeah, you're still in ye olde west areas, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
The only other thing, Christmas Eve, something like that. Alpha 17 launched for 7 Days to Die, which is the co-op zombie-based builder that Megan and I play.
Every time you play that, I'm just like, man, that game still exists.
Yeah, and it's still coming out with big updates.
Yeah.
They changed a lot in 17.
It was an old Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Real old.
Yep. But took a little while to get into it, but now we're rocking and rolling. So that's my video game update for the holidays. Lots of Red Dead, a little bit of 7 Days to Die.
I played on that new Murder Island map. Snow map.
Is it still garbage? Is Murder Island still fucked?
It's less fucked. It had a hard dive for about 365 days.
Yeah.
And then it really pulled up right at the bottom there. And it's the new map is good. And that's basically what everyone's saying. It's like, oh man, these other things are better, but that new map's pretty good. 7 Days to Die Kickstarter. The survey was sent out August 2013.
Oh dear.
Yeah. That game made $507,000. Almost 14,000 backers on that one. So I guess I shouldn't be as surprised that people are still playing that. I've just never hear about it except out of Adrian's mouth.
Yeah, no, it's
still trucking along.
He's the only one interested in it, apparently.
Yeah.
Megan and I, we're the only two.
Well, yes.
I mean, Subnautica never went the Kickstarter route, but that one went through a whole development cycle and came out.
Yeah. Oh,
pretty
man,
shiny
I'm still
at the other end.
so excited for the expansion.
Yeah, which still has a really good name. Deep Freeze.
Yes.
I played a little Just Cause 3 the other day.
3?
Yeah.
You know you're a 1 behind, right?
Well, I never
4
played.
just came out.
I never played 3, and I've had 3 since it came out.
I liked it.
And then I got the extra large edition on the Humble monthly bundle.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And so I was just like, I can play this now with all of the stuff, and it's one of those games. Yep. You shoot stuff, it explodes real good.
Real good.
Yeah. Especially now that I have a more powerful computer, I can jack up all those graphics to the top. Still says I don't have enough RAM though, and that's bullshit.
You just gotta get more RAM, Jeff. Just do that.
Just keep. How much more RAM do I need? 32 gigs? That's totally useless?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
At least.
That's my next step.
Minimum.
Yeah. I installed Horizon Zero Dawn Complete Edition as well.
Whoa.
It's installed.
Whoa.
It has all the DLC.
I installed Divinity Original Sin 2.
Okay.
And was like, oh, character creation. Looked at it and I was like,
that's a lot.
That's a lot. I got it for me and my friend, so we could do co-op shit in there.
Yeah.
So
I did the Kickstarter for it a long time ago.
Yep.
I don't think I've played it.
It was Steam sale. I was like, $30, I'll do it.
I need to get Pillars of Eternity 2 at some point, but I also need to play Pillars of Eternity 1
right.
and Tyranny, which is also really good.
Yep. Same.
All those CRPGs came out, and then I was just like, yeah, and then I just bought them all and never played them. Much like the Baldur's Gate 2 expansion, I never played.
Oh dear.
I feel like from what I heard, there are a lot of people that are like, do you like Baldur's Gate? Wish there's a new one. Go get Divinity Original Sin.
Yeah, that's why I bought that too.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly. It's part of that same resurgence that I'm very glad happened.
Yeah.
I'm usually not interested in them, but I don't know.
I loved all of those old games. I can't really go back to the first one anymore because it is so old.
So old, yeah.
And it's long. It's like 60 hours of story in that game.
Yep.
Can't spend 60 hours on that anymore.
No fucking old school RPG mechanics, man.
Yeah.
They go.
Well, yeah, that's hardcore second edition D&D rules in that thing too.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I made it through, because I was playing second edition D&D at the time. It's like, I know these things.
Oh dear. But I think old school D&D is a good transition into what we've been playing recently.
Have you been playing second edition?
I have not.
Then that wasn't a good transition at all.
Well, no, because that's a tabletop game. We're moving towards the table,
I don't know if it's tabletop game. I'd call it a paper pencil RPG myself. But,
which falls under the huge genre of tabletop.
I mean, there's a
game.
BGG, Board Game Geek, but there's also RPG Geek.
Yeah, and both board games and RPGs are tabletop games.
I guess. But there's no tabletop geek. That's what we really need to come together on.
There
this.
we go.
Yep.
So, after having a lackluster heavy game year, I finished on a very strong note with a trio of heavy games over the last week. Starting with last Sunday, when I got together with Bullshit Paul and DM Wes, and we played Three Kingdoms Redux.
That's not what you were originally going to play, FYI.
No. Well, I mean, we hadn't settled on a game.
But okay.
What's this story?
So
I don't think I
this was
we were talking in the local gaming chat. Paul was like, Adrian, heavy games. Let's do, heavy games. You've been complaining about not playing heavy games. Let's play heavy games. And he had suggested Key Flow, the newest game in the Key series, which I have been wanting to play. And as soon as he mentioned Key Flow ? Zach was like, yeah, I'm out, guys.
Done.
I did not realize that he was out due specifically to Key Flow. I thought Zach was just like, oh, you guys are getting together for heavy games? Nah, man, I'm good. I'm out. I got other shit to do. So I was like, well, we don't really have anybody else to play with. It's just, the three of us. I've been really wanting to play TKR for a while, and there's three of us, and it's a 3-player only game. Let's do TKR. And they were on board with it, and so we got together and we played. I really liked it pretty much from the start. Paul really liked it for about the first hour, and then I think he started to sour on
And
it.
what is the game, just so people have an idea?
So Three Kingdoms Redux is a 3-player asymmetrical strategy game featuring area control, area influence, auction bidding, card drafting, hand management, and a little. They list partnerships in the BGG description, which I guess there kind of are, but yeah. Essentially, it takes place back roughly
before the unification of China.
Yes.
Did you ever play Dynasty Warriors?
Yeah, it takes place during the Three Kingdoms period of China.
It.
I had stopped by when they were playing this, and I was sitting next to
we were still setting up and learning. We hadn't even started to play.
Yes, and boy, did it take you a while to actually start.
It took us about an hour.
Yeah, and when they picked their characters, like that they each of the kingdoms start with, I was like, oh, you have these, and I tried looking up quotes from Dynasty Warriors to see if Wes could use any of them against their the respective generals, but to no avail.
Yeah. But essentially in this game, you all take on different factions, Wei, Wu, and Shu, and then you're competing in a variety of different ways to ultimately earn the most victory points, because it's kind of a Euro game, so you're just getting victory points. But you can score in a bunch of different areas, and there's like battlefields where you can fight with each of your neighbors, and you bid for spots with generals that each have a different value, like a military value or a diplomacy value, and depending on what spot you're going to, it uses diplomacy or military for who wins the auction bidding thing there, the area control. But the kind of the asymmetry in this game largely comes from the fact that one of the groups starts with 5 generals, one of them starts with 4, and one of them starts with 3. And since each general is potentially an action you can take, the one player is basically getting to take 5 actions from the start, whereas the other players are only getting 4 and 3. Which is really what ended up, like, through just random chance. Like, I just took the blue character, which happened to be the one who starts with more actions, and then Paul had the middle, and then Wes had the least, which is where Paul was okay with it for the first hour, and then he started to be like, oh man, Adrian having all those extra actions was kind of bullshit, and like it's giving him an unfair advantage. Wes was like that from the start. Like by the time that first round of bidding and actions were done, he was like, man, this is bullshit. He's like, I don't see how this is even fair, like blah 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 blah, it doesn't seem balanced, it seems bullshit. Basically loosely complained for most of the game to varying degrees. To at one point, like when I blocked him on an action, he was like, fuck you, Adrian. Fuck you. This is bullshit. I haven't got to take this action at all, and it's hurting my game, and it's holding me back, and fuck you. Like pretty angry, like pretty mad.
This sounds very reminiscent of somebody else that I know.
Is it Adrian?
He
went, I think, a little beyond even full Adrian.
Ooh.
Like he got like there was some anger in his eyes during that block.
He got pissy.
Yeah, he got real pissy.
Got Super Saiyan Adrian.
Yes. And then ultimately, when it finally came down to it, he won on tiebreaker. Him and I tied for first, and he won on tiebreaker. And they both conceded they'd be interested in trying it again. I'm dying to play again. I absolutely loved it, even though I lost on a tiebreaker after Wes told me to fuck myself.
So what did you like about it? Like, what was the main thing that is making you want to play it again, besides the fact that it's a heavier game? I want to know if it's something you legitimately enjoyed, or it's just like,
so glad to be playing.
You were in a desert of light games, and then you just see a polluted puddle in front of you, and you're just like, oh, this is the best water I've ever tasted.
No, so I really like the way the different generals all kind of have abilities that some of them trigger off of a specific action. So you're encouraged with those generals to maybe go for that action quite a bit, which can help determine your strategy. But also, like, it makes it a tough decision sometimes where it's like, well, I don't really need to do that action that he's really good at. So should I divert him to go do something somewhere else? And I actually think that I can see where Wes felt like me being able to do 5 actions a turn on the main board would be more powerful. But I think I actually played really poorly, because I should be using my early lead in generals to push advantages in battles and lock down the battle spots that I want, but those lock up your general permanently, meaning you don't have them for future actions.
Gotcha.
And so I think that a lot of the issues that we were having with the game were people not playing optimally, like me, using my 5 guys continually to take 5 actions. I also I really like every faction has a pretty thick deck of generals, of which you're only ever going to get 7 of them, because you always start with the same like overall leader, and then you get 7 of the generals by the end of the game.
Gotcha.
And the deck is pretty thick, so you're not often going to see the same generals. So like one of the combos I was able to regularly pull that really bothered them, it's pretty unlikely I would ever get that exact combo in a future game, which I think that will both help it in that it'll lend a lot of replayability and variability to future plays, but it also might hurt to where, depending on what combo, if you get a really strong combo of generals, you're going to be in a much better position than somebody who gets a weak combo of their generals. And I do think this is a game that really benefits from multiple plays with the same 3 people who are going to be able to learn not just their faction, but the other 3, and kind of learn what each group needs to do well. There's huge strategy guides about this on BGG about how to play each of the 3 factions and what your priority should be at different phases in the game, which is something I really like. I like games that have that level of in-depth strategy, like Food Chain. Like you can read ridiculous strategy guides on food chain strategy of what way to go into things.
It just sounds so tedious and exhausting.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
And so I just really did enjoy all of that. I think also there was probably a little bit of an aspect of, oh, I'm so glad to be playing a game where it's actually like I'm having to really think about what I do, and I can see my actions having more long-term repercussions than you see sometimes in some of the lighter and more medium weight games, where long-term your individual decisions might not have as much repercussion. So that was 3 Kingdoms. I really liked it. Whole bunch. Cannot wait to play more. Hopefully, maybe get you 2 to play it. And then like in 6 months after I've had a chance to get you guys to play it 3 times, because it's going to take that long to get you at least 3 plays, we'll be ready to review it. So
I look forward to losing on turn 1.
Yeah.
And a great way to start a game.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's 3 Kingdoms. And because I feel like I've been talking nonstop for like 20 minutes.
Don't worry, I'll do that at the end.
Well, or I thought that we could maybe on this one, instead of one person doing all of their games, I could do a game, and then Zach could do a game. And then, Jeff, do you have any games besides the one you're going to talk about for forever?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, so then how about I pass it off to Zach for a game, and then we'll just cycle back around.
We'll do a quick one first. I did another exit game. This was the Mysterious Museum one. Did it with 4 people. This was another one that was linear, like the Sunken Treasure. It was about the same difficulty, it said, but we enjoyed it a lot more than that one, which is good. I thought a lot of the puzzles, some of them were not super simple, and they had at least 2 completely new things that I had not seen in this game at all. They continue to just be like, how the fuck they keep thinking different ways to do stupid shit.
Yeah. And then drag it out over multiple series of games.
We finished in about 45 minutes, and we were super close to using a hint, and then we're trying to figure out what to do, and we're like, oh wait, no, we should actually do this because it's a thing. It actually looks like it should do this, and then we did it, and we're like, oh shit, okay, that's what it means now. Got it, cool.
Nailed it.
And so we were able to get 10 stars.
Nice.
And yeah,
was that one of the first 10 stars that we've ever gotten in our group?
I think I think we might have gotten 10 stars on the Sunken Treasure one too, but that one was a lot easier.
Yeah. I think we used a hint in there though. Did we? Yeah, it was the one where it was like sign language. Where it was like rock, paper, scissors or whatever.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yes. Watch your mouth.
Oh. This is a Ruins episode, right?
No, yeah. But yeah, that one, it went well on that one, and we're all still liking it. So yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Exit continues to be good, eh?
Yes. I'm hoping, so these are like the newer batch of them, and I'm hoping the next one in like the trio that came out at the same time, the Dead Man on the Orient Express, I really don't want it to be, it's a more difficult one. I don't want it to be linear again though. I'm hoping that they like keep that for the simpler ones, and the more difficult ones are just
branching a bit more.
Yeah, branching a bit more. So
gotcha. Jeff, how about you? What's something you played?
So this is actually from last time, something I didn't talk about. Zach had gotten his new quiver carry thing for cards, which most of the space has been taken up by Pitchstorm.
I was going to use So that's the reason why I hadn't brought Pitchstorm to the game night, is because with that and the expansions,
it's a lot.
And I was gonna put Dark Overlord in that in the quiver too, but then 90% of the box would have been Pitchstorm and Dark Overlord.
Yeah, we have 2 games.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, both of those fit into those 2 boxes fine anyways. It's not like it's...
Well, I was able to fit all of them into one. That box has no insert. It's just full of cards. But it has rubber bands to hold it together.
Fair enough.
That's all you need.
Yeah. So I played Pitchstorm. It's one of those games that you need the people in the right mindset to play. Thankfully, all of us were, of course.
That's good.
Yeah. Because...
Whitney and David, like, it felt like there were those... they sort of felt like the homeless people that like hang out around like restaurants and stuff like that. Then anytime they see somebody, they like go up and they're like, "Do you have any money?" But them is like, "You guys want to play Pitchstorm?" No, just walk towards other people. Hey, would you guys want to play Pitchstorm? Oh, you were playing a game. No worries, it's fine. Very meek, and it's like.
This was after we finished our lengthy game of Binding of Isaac.
Yeah.
So we got a 4-player game of that going. I started first. I was the first executive. David's fun idea is we all have to have executive personas, of various types. So we were like, he was like, I don't remember. He was like, his persona was like my executive like son that wanted to like not be under my shadow anymore. Whitney was like Lady Wolf or something. Everyone was pitching out all of their movies and stuff like that. The one thing that you need to do in this game that we were not is the rules say you have a 45-second pitch.
Yes,
you need to keep it to 45 seconds or it just goes way too long. Like make your quick pitch. Don't go too in depth with it. Don't go off into this big storyline. You have 45 seconds and then you have like the quick like screw something up type thing. Like I had one that was like a mystical dragon in the forest has to go on a diamond heist. And then David's like, what if it was literally a fish out of water story, like Nemo? I was like, it took me a minute to try and figure out. It's like, okay, maybe he's like a water dragon from like Loch Ness.
Yeah.
And all the water got drained out because of people, and he needs money to put all the water back in, and he needs to go on a diamond heist.
Yeah. So I definitely would be loose with that 45 seconds. Obviously, you don't want someone to be like 5-minute long.
No, but try and keep it under a minute.
Yeah.
Pitchstorm, not pitch game.
Stream.
Yes. But it was fun. I would gladly play it again, but once again, it's definitely one of those games that needs the right enthusiastic mindset to come up with this story. And
some people just aren't as good at that.
Yeah.
Like I played a game of Dark Overlord with someone afterwards. They're like,
very similar to Dark Overlord. You need to be able to tell that story.
And it's fine if people can't handle that sort of game or whatever. It's not a failing of them necessarily.
No, it's just a genre of games that are out there.
Yeah.
This is a good one, a funny one.
Good to hear.
Yeah.
Cool.
Since you own all of it.
Yes.
Have you played it at all yet?
No. Okay. I watched you guys. I was gonna be like,
oh yeah, you were sitting there.
I was sitting next to it, and I was getting ready to go pick up someone from the airport, and I was like, oh, maybe I could do one. I grabbed 2 cards, and it was just like a franchise idea where it's like this movie has a villain from a previous movie that somebody talked about, and I was like, oh, meh. Yeah. All right, I'm just gonna go then. So I was like, I don't know any things they were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
So.
I continued my week of heavy gaming on Thursday when I got together again with Wes and Paul, this time joined by Leander and another friend of ours, Ben, and we played Container, the new 10th anniversary with the crazy big, huge ships. It was a first-time play for all of us. It was 5-player, and amazingly, like, Container's actually a really simple game. As for what you can do, like on your turn, you get 2 actions, and there's only 4 actions you can really do.
10th anniversary jumbo edition?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. And so it goes really quick. Mostly this is kind of a resource chain like game where
commodity speculation.
Yeah. There you go. I
can't believe you pulled that out of your ass.
Yeah,
Jeff.
I don't know where I got that from.
Who can't imagine. Essentially, you have on your board, you have 3 different areas that you're in charge of. So you have a factory space where you can build up to 4 or 5 factories. I can't remember offhand right now. And then those factories will produce goods into your factory storage. Other players can then buy from your factory storage to place out on their docks goods equal to how many warehouses they have. So in the little warehouse section, you can build warehouses and then store goods out there equal to the number of warehouses you have. And then everybody has a container ship that you're sailing to everybody's various docks to buy goods off of their warehouse spaces onto the container ship. And then you sail them to the central island where there's a bid for all of the contents of the ship. And whoever wins the bid, all of those containers will go onto their space of the island. Everybody has a card that ranks the 5 different colors of containers differently. So like in a 5-player game, everybody's going to have a different container that's valued 10 at the end of the game. And then it goes down from there all the way down to a minimum of 2. This is another game kind of like QE and some of those where when you do final scoring, before you total up how much you get from all those containers, you take whatever container type you have the most of and you just get rid of them. You crashed the market in that good.
Oh, wow.
So if you go heavy on your 10 and you end up with your whatever color is your 10, if black is your 10 and you have more black containers than any other single color, you just get rid of it and then you're fucked.
Is that on a personal basis?
Personal.
Okay.
So in your space.
Okay. All right. Because that'd be funny if you're like, oh, black's good for you, Adrian. I'm just going to get so much of it that it crashes. And now
No, it's individual for everybody.
Okay. All right.
But the kind of interesting thing is because you can never buy from yourself, so you can't buy from your factories to put on your docks, and you can't buy from your docks to send on your ship. Like, you almost don't want to be producing, some of what you're good at, but then you kind of do, because then that's what other people are buying from you. And at both stages in your factories and on your docks, you're setting various prices. So it's like 1 to, 5 or something like that out of the factories, and then 2 to 10 out on the docks. And then at the island is just whatever people is willing to bid.
Right.
And so the way the bidding for that works is if I deliver a ship, everybody else at the table bids, and then I have a choice where I can either buy it for whatever the highest bid was. So if it's the 3 of us playing, I sail the ship in, Jeff bids 5, you bid 10. I can buy the entire shipload for 10, in which case I just pay 10 to the bank and I get the shipload. Or I can let you have it for 10, in which case I take your 10, it goes straight to me, and then the bank matches that 10, so I'd get 20. And then at the end of the game, you play until 2 of the containers have all been taken from the supply, 2 of the supplies are empty, kind of like Dominion rules. And then you total everything up, and money is the final determining victory thing. So whoever has the most money. So you take all of your money, you cash in everything you have on the island for whatever their values are, and then whoever has the most money wins.
Also, the money's nice. It's cards.
Yeah, they're nice little.
It's not paper or tokens. It's like money.
No, they're nice little cards.
Yeah.
And they have bluffing cards for the bidding phase. There's 2 zeros, and we played with an advanced variant where you can put as many cards in as you want. If any of them are a 0, your entire bid is a 0. So you can put in like 10 cards to make it look like you're bidding a whole shit ton, and then really just bid 0.
Yep. But then people will be like, oh, that's too many cards. I'm sure he's just bidding 0.
Yeah.
It's another advanced layer.
Yes. So overall, the game was really good.
Ships are big.
Ships are huge.
7 inches.
Yeah. They're hefty.
Yeah. This is a good picture example.
Yes. Yeah.
It looked like Ben was kind of running away with it. He had a huge pile. He had by far the most containers on his island, and he had a good spread of numbers that made it seem like he had probably planned pretty well to where he wasn't going to be losing his 10s. And the second slot, it goes 10s, and then it goes 10/5. And on that good, if you have one of everything, that second good is worth 10. If you don't have one of everything, it's only worth 5.
Gotcha.
But so we're getting close to the end there, and Paul and I both only have 2 colors of goods on our island. He had 2 goods, each one of a different color. I had 3 goods, 2 of them of one color, or I had 3 total goods, yeah, and then 2 of one color, 1 of another. So Paul and I were both like, yeah, we're each gonna score 1 container off of our cards. Like, there's no way. Like, Paul thought he was gonna lose for sure. I thought I was gonna be pretty far behind. And so basically one of the last actions was I sailed a full cargo ship in, and I was like, it would have given me, if I'd won it, 1 of everything, and would have made my lowest good the one that was getting discarded. So it was a pretty valuable ship for me. And I was like, all right, if it's anything up to like this amount of money, it's worth it for me to buy this no matter what. Otherwise, if they're going to pay me more, then they'll be giving me more money than I would earn from the goods. And Leander offered me, the line for me was like 17. Leander bought it for 24.
Oh, nice.
So he gave me 24. The bank gave me 24. I got $48 on that last transaction and then ended up winning the game with only one container on the island and 61 total dollars. Paul ended up tying for second at 59 after thinking same thing, that he didn't have a chance. And Wes came in last at 52. So the spread wasn't that much. Tight game. We all 5 liked it, so we all 5 want to play again. And it took like 2 hours for a learning game. Like, I really think this is a game that you could actually play at game night pretty easily with experienced players.
I do want to try it. It does seem like it could be my style of game.
Yeah, I think it's got enough of that market speculation type stuff that you seem to like, in like Stockpile and Ponzi.
But not any bullshit about doing trains. So
yeah,
all ships.
Yeah, all ships. Yeah, really liked Container. It was good. Look forward to playing more of that. Kind of wish I'd gotten a jumbo edition, but say la vie. Zach, what else have you played?
So when the thing we played before Exit the Game was Andrew. So it was the same 4 people: me, Andrew, Paul, and Wes. And we were playing Mechs versus Minions because Paul and Wes and I had started playing it like a couple weeks ago and gotten the itch for that again. And Andrew had heard we were playing, and he's like, "Oh, I want to try that out." So we played. We did the 3rd mission, which introduces the boss, the giant ass fucking, well, not boss, but you're the giant,
the big thing in a box.
Yeah, the big thing in a box. And we got our ass handed to us the first time.
Yeah. You had played recently, though.
Yes,
right?
we had played recently.
So you had at least a bit of a refresher on the game.
Yeah, and it's just how the boss works is like he runs through his entire command line, and then you draft a new card for him, and if you ever get 3 of the same color, you lose.
Oh, just you're done.
Yeah, on the next turn. Yeah. He activates his GG like 190 cannon to end the game.
Okay.
Doom cannon, I think is what it was called. But basically what happened was we got 3 cards. We had the green, the yellow, and the blue. And the hard thing with him is he has shields up. You have to step on runes to deactivate his shield.
Yeah.
And so you step on a blue rune, the blue shield gets deactivated. Now you can do 1 damage to him on his blue shield before it launches back up, or it boots back up, and then you have to step on it again. And we could not get a good combination of people stepping on things like
to shoot, and then
3/4 of the game I was just circling around in a corner. I just could not get anything that I needed. And I was like, this is fucking ridiculous. And then we had 2 so we had one of the yellow, blue, and green cards out for the boss. And then when we were drafting one of his, we had another yellow and another green card come up. But the yellow card was on his turn, he heals. Like you reset all the shields, and then he would heal up. He would heal a point, and we're like, we can't have that. So we got this green one. But on the next round of drafting, we drew out 2 green cards.
Oh,
and so it was like, well, no matter what we do, we're gonna lose on the next round.
Are the minions also in this,
yes,
along with the mech?
Yeah.
Okay.
But they're not going anywhere any specific. They just sort of meander around.
Okay.
And
just to run into you.
Yeah. And so we decided to try it again. And this time we got a lot of good things coming up, including like good uses of fuel tanks for when someone would take damage, they blow up everything around them.
Yeah.
A lot of good rip saws and stuff like that. And we were able to control where we were going a lot. So there'd be a lot of things where like I open up blue, then I attack him. Blue is now closed, and then somebody else would open up blue, and then somebody else would then attack again with blue. And so we were able to do 5 damage to him on 1 turn.
What's to kill him?
He has 10 health.
Okay. So yeah.
Yeah, and so we rocked him the second time.
Yeah.
Wes continues to like it. Paul continues to like it. Andrew still liked it. And now I believe that's as far as we got during like when playing for the review.
Yeah.
So uncharted territory.
Yeah.
Now. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
And then back over to me for the conclusion of my week of heavy games, my 12 days of heavy games, even though I only played heavy games on 3 days. I don't know, whatever.
It felt like 12 days.
Felt like 12. Yep.
Just listening to it.
Yeah. So on Friday, after we did Container on Thursday, I turned around Friday morning, I got up and I drove up to the far north suburbs of the Denver area, Henderson, for those familiar with the area. And went over to Tony's house, former host of Heavy Cardboard back in the day. And we had a little mini 18XX day. There were 6 of us, so we split into 2 3-player games. Upstairs, some people played 18 Ardennes, I'm not really familiar with it, so I'm not really going to talk about it. Apparently, it was an interesting game, and they all kind of liked it and want to play Ardennes more because it does weird 18xx things. I don't know.
I don't know what you mean by that.
I don't either. I don't know what... When people say, oh, yeah, it's kind of a weird 18xx, I don't know what they mean. Meanwhile, I went downstairs with Sweater Mike and a guy, John, who I had not met before, and we played 18 Chesapeake, which I had previously played for the first time back at HeavyCon in May, something like that, May. And Megan had played it was Megan's first 18xx that she played back at HeavyCon as well. We played it 5-player at HeavyCon. We played 3-player on Friday. I've really enjoyed it at both player counts. It is a tight map, relatively small map for an 18xx. Relative to other 18xx's, it's fantastic component quality. And I know the designer is really, he's working on getting mass printing and being able to get the cost down and actually have...
like near non-existent for availability, right?
Yeah, there were only like a dozen initial ones that he wanted to get out to people to kind of spread the word and gauge interest. And apparently it has been very positive. And so he's moving forward with it. It will be at Trax in April. And
it's the Denver Heavy 18xx con.
Yeah, this will be the inaugural year of Trax this April. And he'll be there and have the full-on production copy, the like production print from the factory, and he'll have a final price point by then. But it looks like it's going to come in around $60 to $80, which
sounds reasonable from what I've remember hearing about prices for 18xx.
Yes, they were talking about that. There's a BGG auction up right now for a $200 one that a couple of them were thinking about going in on, and then another one where somebody's asking like over $200 for one, and they were all like, I don't know why anybody would pay over $200 for that particular one. I should sell my copy if that's what it's actually going for, because it's not that good.
He's got a roadmap, and he's saying a release for Q1 2019, externally manufactured.
Yep. So, really excited for it. It's basically, for those of you who know 18xx, it uses the 1830 rule set, which means it's a little bit, I think, more towards operating trains rather than playing stock games and messing around with the market. I thought I was going to have a decent start. And then Sweater Mike, I thought we were working kind of together to lay track to connect a series of cities that we were both going to be able to run trains to and do pretty well in. We were both pretty well invested in each other's companies. I thought it was like a mutually beneficial arrangement. And then right at the last second, he was like, nope, actually, I'm going to swerve over here and hit this city and leave you high and dry. And so I kind of got behind the 8-ball for a little bit there. Was eventually able to turn it around towards the end and then throw up some roadblocks that slowed them down when we got to the diesel phase, that kept them from running just ridiculously high routes and earning all of the money. Ultimately, finally, game ended. Sweater Mike won with just barely over 12,000. I was just under 11,000, and John was basically right at 10,000. So we were all pretty close. It was a close game, tight game. Sweater Mike just from the start was a little bit ahead, and he just managed to slowly expand that to a good victory margin. But I really liked it. It was a good game. I ran 3 major companies throughout it and didn't bankrupt any of them. I thought about trying to bankrupt one of them and move it over to somebody else, but I couldn't quite make it happen with the way the trains were rusting. So
let's look about what you played.
Our track layout was decidedly different.
Okay.
Was nowhere near, like, for us, that southeast corner was empty until most of the end, and it was the entire north that was, like, super packed in.
Component-wise, does this look accurate?
Oh, yeah, that's definitely 18xx components right there.
Oh, yeah. Well, like what you played with.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It looks the best of the 18xx things that I've seen before.
It looks the same as whatever one I played, except the map obviously looks different, but
yeah.
Components wise, it looks...
Yeah, I don't know. I'm curious to see at Trax. I don't know what he's doing for train tiles, if he's going to do that same thin laminated, like basically laminated paper hexes, or if they're actually going to be cardboard punch-out counters. I don't know yet, but I am curious to see and find out. So, really, really like 18 Chesapeake. I was talking to them both before and after, and both Tony and his wife played it too. Sweater Mike and his wife played it too. They both said they really, really like Chesapeake at 2 players. It's great at 5 players, and it was really good at 3 players. And so I think it's going to be my first 18xx purchase for that reason. Like having it play well at 5, 3, and 2, I think will give it more than enough variety for me to be able to find just enough people to get it played.
Because you probably won't play with 6.
I don't think it plays 6.
I mean, it says here it plays 2 to 6. So
I mean, I'd play at 6. I'd be interested to see that. It might get really tight at 6. Because there's only, I think, 8 major companies, and so you'd be pretty limited on major companies. But yeah, 18 Chesapeake, real good. Super excited about that game. So that's it for me and my heavy games week. Zach, back over to you before Jeff wraps everything up.
I'll do 2 quicker ones. We played at game night. We played Just One, which is a new word team association game. Basically, one person has a card that has a word in front of them that they're trying to guess, and everybody can give the clues.
I think I saw you guys playing this, but I didn't realize what it was.
Yeah, it was all over the place. Like there was a big group playing it when we first got there, and they played for a long time, and then we started a game that played for a while.
So you can give everybody, you can write down a 1-word clue, but the person who's guessing like closes their eyes when the clues are revealed, and any clue that has this is the same word, they always get covered. So if we're trying to do a computer and Adrian and I both write the word keyword or keyboard, then we'd have to put them down, and so you don't get to see that. And so if you want to have something that relates to what the word is, but not something too common because other people might write it. Or what happens most of the time is everybody, like, what you want in the game is you want like a bunch of like level B words and then 1 or 2 A words that sort of tie everything together. And then you're like, the context of that one makes these make a lot more sense. But then if the A's, if like those, somebody else wrote that and that was gone, and it's just those like very vaguely related clues, you're like, I have no idea what this is supposed to be.
Do you ever have the list? Do you have the full list of words that it could be? Like it has that list of 5 words down.
There are 5 different words on the card.
Yeah.
But then you roll a die and you choose one of them.
Okay.
You don't know, like if you were playing, the card would face away from you, so you would never see that card.
Okay.
It's just
all like little nameplates in front of you.
You just see what the nameplates are. You just see the clues written on them, and then you just have to guess what the word is. It's one word, and you just try and figure it out.
A good example they have here is it's clearly chocolate, but it's like milk, white, sweet, hazelnuts, Belgian, and then you'd be like, oh, chocolate.
Yes.
Yep.
It was fun. We liked it. You played it like the best out of 13. It's all cooperative.
Yeah.
So, and you just take turns doing it. And sometimes you see words and you're like, oh, I know immediately what it is. Other times you look at it and you're just like, no idea. Because like the worst is when you open up and you see 4 of the things down, because we were playing with 7 people. And so that means you just have 2 clues and you're just like,
fuck all of you.
Yeah. And you're like, those clues, these aren't even the clues that are like the people, like it's not even the people in the dugout. Like they're like, we're part of the team, but like we only really do practice. And you're like, all right, time to pitch for the World Series. And you're like, what? It's but it was,
I have to go to my real job.
Yeah.
Like
exactly. But it was, it was fun. We liked it.
Yeah. I thought it was really good.
Yeah.
I liked that it was a cooperative one.
Yes.
And yeah, it was interesting trying to think of like what clue to give.
Yeah, exactly.
Without being too esoteric.
Yeah. And then you'd see and what would be funny is that you would see someone write a clue and you're like, everybody else is like, I have no idea what that even is supposed to mean. Or you look at when you're the person who is trying to figure out what it is and you see a clue and you're like, what the fuck does that even mean? And everyone's just like, it makes sense if you know what the word is, but that's it.
Yeah. Like you just reach over and like, just we're going to turn that one face down.
Yeah.
It didn't match anybody, but we're just ignore that one.
And go ahead, just turn your seat around.
Yeah.
Don't look at us.
Yeah, don't look at it. But yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. That happened to me a couple times where I did a word and people are like, that was confusing me. And everybody's like, just turn Adrian's around. Just don't look at his word.
And then the last thing I played was I finally got to try out Sherlock Holmes Consulting Detective.
This game is one that I've wanted to play.
Yes.
And it's been around for a while.
Yeah, Megan and I got a copy for Christmas.
Yeah, you got the only one I didn't have.
Yeah, so we'll have to work together.
Yes. Basically I can't play 3 because that's the one I did.
Okay.
But it's very simple as a game. You just
get crushed by Sherlock Holmes.
Well, 100%.
Well, yes.
100% yes. But it's no. You get a little word or a couple paragraphs, or really even it's a couple pages of text. It's just like, hey, we found this person dead, or whatever bad thing that could have happened to them. Here is what we sort of know. Here are some suspects and whatnot. You have a directory, a London directory that lists a whole bunch of people, like everybody that you could contact in the entire game. And then you have a map that sort of tells you where they are. And then you have on the back of rules, like, here's some people that's like, oh, you can go talk to the mortuary guy. You can go talk to like this guy who knows the juicy gossip. And then each case has their own specific answers for all of those. So it's like, oh, in this instance, he's talking about this. You get newspapers that are for whatever the day is, but you can still reference previous newspapers because it might have information. It'll also probably have a lot of red herrings in this game because we fell prey to that because you basically you read a paragraph, then you guys sort of talk and you just figure out who to talk to next, and you go talk to that person, and you keep doing that until you think you know what happened. And then when you feel like you're done, and you sort of keep track of where you've gone to and who you talk to, then
go until you feel satisfied.
You open an envelope, or you basically go to the back of the book, and it'll ask you a series of questions. It's like, who did it? Who did it? Why do you think they did it? What do you think this person is for? And it has a whole bunch of things. And then for everything you get right, you're going to get a certain amount of points. And then and then it'll sort of tell you how Sherlock did it, and the clues, the jumps he made. And then for every location you went to more than him, you have to subtract points to your score and so forth. It's not good when you look at the back and it's just like, you're like, all right, who do we think killed it? Oh, we think this person killed him. And then Paul's just like, nope, it wasn't them. And then we're like, okay, well, who killed him? And he lists off a name, and we are all like, who is that?
It's that guy.
And then it asks like 2 or 3 more questions, and we're like, we have no idea what they're talking about. And then what turns out is that all I'll say is that make sure you talk to everybody, or you don't have to necessarily talk to everybody to listen to, but like talking to the person who committed the crime, maybe if they're available, maybe go talk to them. Because at one point we were talking and I was like, man, I wish we knew what her stance on it was. And so we were like, oh, let's go to Scotland Yard. That'll be where she is. It wasn't. It clearly told us where she was, and she was somewhere else. Had we gone there, we would have been able to figure out a lot more stuff that would have linked a whole bunch of things together. And so we were going, you think there are red herrings in time stories? No. Like we were like, oh, we're sure it's this and this and this. And it was like, didn't matter at all.
Nothing.
We enjoyed it enough, but we were looking online afterwards, and it seems like the third case was one of the more divisive ones. And like,
is that the one you played?
Yes.
Okay. Because you haven't played the base one.
Well, no. I mean, there are 10 cases in each thing.
Oh, I see.
And it was the third case in there.
Gotcha. I always assumed each of those boxes just had a bunch of shit for everything.
No, it's like 10 separate cases.
I see.
That have like that'll share certain things. But yeah, I didn't
realize it was so old. 81, the original version.
This was like a revamped version of it.
Yeah.
So it was like 2016, I think, is when it came out.
Yeah.
But we liked it. The new people. So Paul had played 1 and 2, but it was Wesley, Andrew, and I's first of it. Mm-hmm. We'd be willing to play again. It was the game really made you feel stupid because we missed that super, like the thing right in the beginning. And then so we went onto this own corner that, like I said, didn't matter at all. So I chalked that up to just not playing, or, being our first time playing, and Paul just forgetting that we could have done it. So, but it's definitely like we are keeping tracking of notes and stuff like that. And it's cool when you can try and figure out what's going on. And I think they did a good job with it. It is definitely a bit wordy. And many times, like, Paul would be reading whatever the paragraph was, and then he'd be like, all right, we're done. And then like Wes would immediately grab it and then read it himself. Just because having people just read, like, all the information is just someone reading it out to you, you can miss some things. So like when he was reading, I was just reading in front of, like, because I was sitting right next to him. I was reading it while he was reading it aloud.
Yeah.
So
don't want him to skip anything.
No, exactly.
Right.
Vital.
Yeah.
To maybe the importance of the end of the game.
Yeah. But no, there was a lot of good discussion I thought that we were doing, and it was cool. I liked it.
I don't remember which one of them it was. Megan and I played one at the condo last season because Ant, I think, has a set of
many
all of them.
Yeah.
He had a set up at the condo, and we played the first one out of that, and I remember really liking it. And then we got the one set for Christmas, so we're really excited to get to play it some more. I really like it.
Paul said that Ant was not a fan of it at all as soon as he found out about the scoring or whatever.
Yeah, I seem to recall that as well.
But I definitely feel the same that Andrew and Wes were like, we don't really care about the score as much as just figuring out what happens.
That's definitely how I would play the game.
Yeah.
We can just throw the scorecard in the garbage.
Yeah. One thing before I hand it over to Jeff that I just remembered, a little bit lighter fare, and I'll keep this one really short. Megan and I played 2 players, the first scenario of Mice and Mystics. At first we were like, holy shit, this is really easy. And it was really easy until it wasn't. And we ran out of time. And so we failed the first time through. We liked it. The rules aren't great. There's a lot of random information that isn't super apparent in the rules and campaign book that you kind of have to rely on the FAQ for, which there is an official FAQ from Plaid Hat about it. And then there's a bunch of BGG threads about clarification for things. But we had fun with it, and we're looking forward to playing it some more as a little 2-player game where we each just get to control 2 mice and run around and complete this campaign. So
one of the hottest games of 2013.
Yeah, we're going way deep.
Yeah.
So, but we enjoyed it. All right, Jeff. I believe that that brings us back around to you for your big fancy go nuts.
Basically, the only thing that I played while on break. But the thing I did play on break was 13 hours of Kingdom Death Monster.
Woo!
The Friday before Christmas. We got up early. CJ lives closer into the city. It's about an hour. Picked up my friend Kevin, who lives kind of near...
he lives about an hour from you?
CJ does.
Okay.
Yeah. And then my friend Kevin, which lives near my mom, picked him up, and then we carpooled into the city. CJ has Kingdom Death Monster and all of the expansions. Of course, he doesn't have any of the expansions built.
Of course.
But we didn't really need those except for the Gorm expansion. And then he refuses to build anything until he has storage to put them somewhere. So I have recently actually messaged him and everyone else a really good laser cut storage thing for the minis that I found, because even Thursby doesn't really have a good mini transportation system.
No, just look at all the broken.
That antelope is fucking bullshit, though.
It is.
Yeah, that
spider one is not any better.
It's gonna be bad.
Yeah.
So we started it off early. They had never played before. They had no idea how to play. Never watched anything. Thankfully, Kingdom Death Monster. It's super easy to learn how to play. You have a move action and you have an activation. That's it. You can use your activation to attack with or use an item. You have a stat line of this is how many dice you roll. You need to roll this. And then you add this to the strength, and its toughness is this. If it's equal to or greater than, you get a wound. And then we just started. I instantaneously fucked up because we have not done this in a very long time. The intro lion that you fight is different than a level 1 lion.
Super simple. Yeah.
So we fought a level 1 lion.
Oh, nice.
No one died.
That's good.
Yeah. It actually went out. It went fairly well. I was playing 2 players, and then they were each playing 1 because we wanted to play with at least 4. We didn't want to do
Well, I think it's no matter what, you always play with 4.
Yeah, you can do more, of course.
Well, yes. But not less.
Yeah. So the prologue lion, we did a regular level 1 lion setup. It went fine. We did some random terrain that ended up going really well. There was a rubble pile that I got a crit on, which you get a bone blade out of. So we fought.
Oh, nice.
So we started with nothing, but I was like, oh, now I have a bone blade. Which is a huge leg up. And this was a foreshadowing of the future of swords that was going to be our 13 hours. So then we did all the first time settlement stuff. I didn't really know where any of that stuff was because Thursby always has the rulebook and does all that kind of stuff because he's done it a bunch of times. And we've done it enough times to where we can kind of just do it.
Yes.
Without really needing to look at it. But I needed to look at it because I'd never done it. So we got the first settlement. I needed to figure out where certain cards were, things like that. Was able to find all the lens cards first thing.
That's good.
Yeah.
This shit going right there.
Yep. Didn't get that far in this campaign, but we got our first settlement going. And then I of course knew everything that was going to be happening during all this, so I was letting them make decisions and things like that. So I'd kind of keep the cards and describe them. Things went well. We went out on our first hunt. During the hunt phase, we got a lot of new things because there's 100 different things that you can get. We got almost all new stuff that I hadn't really ever seen before, which was interesting.
One that you had seen before, right?
I don't remember.
The sword one, Twilight Side one?
Have we done that one before?
Yeah, remember? One of us had the Twilight Sword.
Did we?
Yeah. And then he died.
Did we get it that way, though?
Yeah.
Where we go into like the crater, where we have to explore like this big smoking crater.
Well, it's like you talk to someone and then they're like, oh, you don't have the sword? Here you go. Or that'd be something else.
I think that's something else.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so this one there's a big smoking crater, and then we had to have enough courage to go into the crater, and then we got a bunch of disorders. Each of us took a disorder, just straight up. Then we go through and explore, and then if you roll high enough, you find a body that has a Twilight Sword. And if you have no one that has the honorable disorder, you can loot the body for the Twilight Sword.
Nice.
So we got a Twilight Sword on our way to the level 1 lion fight in year 1. The Twilight Sword is like the best sword in the game.
Once it gets, it's not the best sword when it starts.
No. So it's slow. It's cumbersome. It's only got like 1 die. Or I think slow is it always has 1 die. Cumbersome is you can't move and attack with it.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like sentient and cursed. And if you die with it, it goes away, and you have to be insane to use it. So we did that. And it has its own proficiency because every time you hit with it and get weapon proficiency, it makes it 1 easier to hit with because it starts only hitting on 9s or 10s.
Yeah.
And then every hunt you hit with it, it turns into an 8 on the next hunt, 7, 6, 5, etc. And then you get to lose slow, and then you get up faster speed, and it has like +9 to strength or something insane.
Something pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, like if you hit with it, you're wounding with it unless you're rolling a 1. So that lion hunt went well. No one really bit it, which would continue what would happen. No one really died for a long time. We had like 3 years with no one dying. I think the first person died on like a settlement event, which was interesting.
Oh, wow.
So we got that. Then we came back, and then we had our the Gaping Maw settlement event. There's a huge stone face with its mouth, and then you can roll as many d10s as you want, but if you ever roll doubles, the mouth closes shut and you die.
Which happened to us.
Yes, because we just threw some no-name person in there, nominated that person to go in. We did the same, and I think we rolled just 5 die. And got no doubles and hit 32. 32 plus is where the real good shit comes from. I think there's one that's like a 50 plus or something insane. But the 32 range, I didn't know what it was until I read it, and I was like, holy shit. So the guy goes in, and then he just kind of comes out later with a lantern sword, which is like the end game sword that's not like the perfect slayer or some insane quest line thing that we have no idea how to make.
Right.
So we got that sword, and that's really good. It's speed 3, throws 3d10. Its one downside though is it's called like early iron, which if you ever roll a 1 to hit, it cancels out your whole attack action if you roll a 1 to hit on any of the 3 die.
So even if you get perfect hits on the other.
Yep. Your attack is totally wasted. Which I think Paul calculated out to be like a 24% chance of that happening every time you swing. But that's totally worth it because when it hits on a 5+, you get every wound that you do gets an additional D10 strength towards. So if it's toughness 8, which is a level 1 monster, or 10 for a level 2 monster usually, it's like 12 maybe? I don't remember. Level 2 monsters, was it 10 or 12?
Depends on the monster.
Yeah, I think it was probably 12 lion, 10 antelope. It's got strength 5 on there, so it's already, you just need a 5+ on the die to wound a level 2, but then on each one of them, you roll an additional d10 on top of that. So you're basically rolling 2d10 plus 3 for all wound attempts. So that thing, when it hits, is slashing the shit out of whatever it is. So we had that to great success. Then the year after, we hit Clinging Mists.
Ooh.
Thankfully, we rolled in the middle where there was like an ammonia one that you can do. Like you soak someone in ammonia and they run through the town and like it clears out all of the mist. There's no real bad effect, but they get a bunch of negatives and then like their name is permanently changed to like Piss Boy or something.
Yes, yeah.
And then we just sort of slaughtered everything. Like at that point, we had some really, really good weapons. We had the Twilight Sword that was doing well. The Hooded Knight would show up. It got added when we picked up the Twilight Sword. And he duels the person with the Twilight Sword. But you need to roll a 4+ on 1, 2, 3. They just straight up die. The Hooded Knight just kills him. And he's like, oh, that was disappointing. And then he walks away. And on basically a 4+, they get like experience, but they might take damage. And then they might get more experience, but you really only want that experience really early because once they get their full specialization, they hit mastery and then they lay the sword down and walk off into the darkness to find a new meaning in life. But they leave the sword behind so someone else can use it.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. So that's actually where we ended was him. We unlocked the Phoenix. Some dude did the Phoenix event and rolled a 1. Someone wanted to do like with a good character. I was like, no. We don't do this with good characters. We rolled a 1. He looked at the thing and the rainbow feather and just went insane and then disappeared.
Nice. Yep. Sounds about right.
Then we hunted a Phoenix, the first Phoenix defeat that I've ever seen. Handedly, no less. Fuck Phoenix. Fuck everything about Phoenix. We are never fighting a Phoenix. We never should ever fight a Phoenix. The one time we did it, we lost so fast we didn't really get to deal with his mechanics.
Yeah, no, he's fucked.
He's so fucked. Like,
did anybody age out and just?
No, there was. Thankfully, we got lucky where with his teleports, he couldn't do his basic action within his move distance or something. So he kept going back to the tree and pulling age tokens, and only ever one time did someone have an age token. But gladly, we didn't get a lot of them because he was constantly pulling them.
Yeah.
And every time they age, you get like 3 or 4 added to your age or
3,
something.
I believe, yeah.
And then there's the one card that if like there's a total of 25 age taken, or if you all just go back in time and start a new settlement.
Yeah.
Everything else about him is totally fucked. I fuck that thing.
Yep.
Fuck it hard. Butcher we slaughtered. We got the cleaver. No one used it because we didn't need it. Because we had a spear guy and we had a bow and arrow lady that couldn't use sharp weapons. Then we had the Twilight Sword and the Lantern Sword, and we were like set. Downside, almost the whole time we couldn't get fucking hide, so we couldn't make anyone armor like the whole time. It was all just bones and organs and stuff. We kept using all those like the little like 3 question mark one that can be used as any of them. We were just burning them as hides. Going for antelope, we were just constantly just getting all the other stuff.
You didn't just quarter in section him like we did.
I do have to say we probably got the least crits of any like session I've seen. Like we were not critting on wounds.
Oh,
ever.
gotcha. Okay.
Except we hit that line in the ding dong twice.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. We hit that line in the ding dong 3 times. Of the 3 times that we pulled that hit location card, we did crit it twice.
Oh, he got real mad.
On 2 different line attempts, we ripped off that lion's ding dong.
I still think that's one of my favorite things is just like, until you're dead, he is always going to attack you.
Yes.
He is pissed off.
Yes, you have the priority token no matter what happens. Like he throws his trap and then turns around and hits the person with the priority token. It's
he's like, oh, you motherfucker.
You motherfucker. We had like a disorder that gave someone the priority token at the beginning of a scenario. It's like anxiety or something. Like the animals can smell your fear and they're like, oh yeah, I'm coming for you. So someone starts with the priority token.
Oh man.
Yeah. Otherwise it was pretty clear cut. We went Graves and then we went the
Survival of the Fittest.
Survival of the Fittest, which was super useful because we were just pumping out plus strength, plus evasion babies left and right. I think we had played wrong that first time.
Yeah, probably.
Where it was 2d10, choose the lowest. It's 2d10 with a reroll, choose the lowest each time. And then the other one is 2d10, choose the highest.
Yeah.
I let them make all those decisions. I just sort of told them what they did and stuff. We got a lot of innovations and things.
Nice. Oh,
we went pretty deep. That's where I learned that the runaway is an innovation, not something you can do. Yeah, it's on pictograph, the pictograph innovation.
Okay. Did you guys? So what happened when the first person died?
So I just remembered how the first person died. It was from our second hunt. We pulled plague.
Oh, no.
So on our first innovation, we pulled ammonia, and I was like, all right, we're getting ammonia. It was ammonia and I don't remember. And I was like, we need this because I know there's some bad cards in here that will really fuck us if we don't have ammonia. So we pulled plague on that exact next hunt. And that was our first death. We had basically everyone's infected, or you choose like 4 different people and then you roll. On a 1 or 2, on a 1, they're just straight up dead. The plague kills them. You add plague into the next year as well.
Jesus.
Yeah. And then... So then because the plague spreads and you're just going to have to deal with plague again, and then you have to nominate another 4 people. But we had ammonia. So ammonia lets you treat. And it was basically like without ammonia, they automatically die. Those people that got plague, there's nothing you can do. They're just straight up dead. You can roll, and I think it's even like a 1 to 8. They're treated and then they're fine. But on a 9+, you treat everyone. No matter what, they're all cured, and then you erase plague from the next year. So we got a 9+ on our treat, and that got everyone totally cured. But that was our first death, was a plague death.
Question.
Yes.
Did you guys look at the guy that just died of the plague, and you're like, he looks pretty good?
We had the cannibal or grave option, but we went the grave option because getting the endeavors for the people that die is way better than just getting a random resource or getting
your hide.
Yeah, we would have gotten 1 more hide. I think our next death was from a level 2 antelope.
Would that have changed at all had the guy not died of the plague?
I don't think so.
Because I feel like if that would have happened in our game, I think I would have made a hard pull to
Graves.
I want to eat people. I don't want to eat that guy though.
Yeah. We don't have to eat him. We'll just skin him and use him.
Yeah.
Our second death was later on with the lady that could not fight with bladed weapons. The diabolical antelope finally put her in. That's the one where it just runs.
Yeah.
After we were really hitting it hard, giving it like multiple minus moves, but we were just getting in the wrong spots.
Yeah.
And it just kind of pushed her head right into the ground.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah. The hydraulic hoof strikes again. No one got devoured, though.
That's good.
One of our lion encounters had a real rough setup. There's he gets enraged. That gives him +1 damage. So he just kind of turns into 2 damage on every hit until he dismembers something or someone dies.
Yeah.
We got that almost first card on the first level 1 or the second level 1 lion hunt that we did. And we were like, well, we're basically fighting a level 2. We did a level 2 at one point, and we were just running everything over. We never got wiped. We only had the 1 hunt death throughout the entire thing. We just retired the sword guy at the end of year 7.
But you guys haven't fought the King's Hand or...
Yeah, we did. I think the King's Hand is next.
Okay.
When they came in, CJ rolled a 1 on the count how many survivors thing that we had. And I was like, you motherfucker. That's the one where it's kill 5 survivors.
Yep.
That's it. And I was like, we can fight him. And everyone was like, oh, I don't want to fight him. He's going to be hard. And I was like, yeah, he's going to be hard, but we're doing pretty well. And then they overruled me on the fighting. So he'll come up, but...
Well, just remember, because then you'll die and then he'll kick your pottery to the ground.
Yes. Something else I discovered in the rulebook is there's supposed to be defeat conditions on these hunts. Thursby was saying that might be with only higher level things that it happens.
I don't think so.
But I thought it was when we were wiping against a level 1 antelope, someone should be going crazy in the settlement every time we're defeated. And I don't think we've been doing that.
No. Huh. Hey, we got a new settlement now.
All new settlement.
Yep. What did they think of the game?
They fucking loved it. I've just been getting nothing but texts about wanting to play again.
Have you been you guys know you can play without me, right?
Yeah. That's the thing that CJ just doesn't ever want to coordinate, is just to get together and play. I mean, especially now that they know how to do most of it and do the aging things like bold and insight and stuff like that. Because there's a lot of intricacies in the different things you have to do in that game. He, of course, owns all of the expansions. I sent him some laser cut foam. I think I mentioned at the beginning, things that he can buy that he can store everything in. Because there was a big Christmas sale for Kingdom Death Monster. Basically, they released everything, all the expansions from the first wave of Kingdom Death.
Which I believe you linked it in the morning, and then Paul almost made it to lunch. And he's like, well, I almost made it to lunch before buying it. Good job.
Yeah, good job, Paul. So Thursby owns the base set and the Gambler's Chest that'll be coming soonish. And then Paul will be, I assume, this week receiving
a shitload of stuff.
Everything else.
Yeah.
Yep. And then I, of course, linked the all the laser cut foam storage. I guess Paul doesn't matter so much.
Yeah,
for that,
Paul was like, my storage solution is to make everybody come to me.
Yeah. But I do want to get the rest of the single survivor figures from Thursby so I can build the rest of those. Because those are all the different armor sets that we have that we could use, and not just use the same basic naked dudes.
Yeah, naked POSs,
Yeah.
Have actual, like, oh, we have the rawhide, or now I look like a fucking cat, and I have the guitars and all that shit.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
So that's Kingdom Death Monster. Continues to be great.
Yes.
Will continue to be greater as 2019 will bring literally
more and more stuff.
So much stuff, yes.
And that's still not even counting the like second Kickstarter stuff that I don't think's even come out yet.
No.
I think the Gambler's Chest is going to be the first piece of that crazy wave. Did we talk about that when it first started, the Kingdom Death 1.5?
Yeah.
And we were making fun of its like 2021, 2022 delivery dates.
And now we're just like,
it needs to happen now.
Let it be here.
It's like Christmas Day.
Right on.
And we'll do this all again next week because we're playing again Saturday, Sunday.
God.
Yep.
Oh God.
Yep.
Well, we had to move it a week because we had to
record.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because tomorrow,
we didn't want to record on New Year's Eve.
Yes, exactly.
It's behind the curtain.
Yeah.
Well, that was a fairly long, what have we been playing?
That's what we've been playing.
Because there's almost literally nothing else to talk about.
Yeah.
Isn't it funny? We take like a week and a half off from the show, which we didn't really take time off. Like we did just we pre-recorded. We had like a week and a half off, and we all actually managed to play like a shit ton of games.
But like all at once.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right on.
It's the Christmas game spectacular.
Yes. That's what happens when you go hang out with friends and family over the holidays.
Yeah.
Play a bunch of games.
Well, not with my family, just my friends.
Right.
That's why I said friends and family.
Yeah. Maybe for you people.
Anyway, shall we move over to the news segment?
Yes. Not much this week, but a cool couple tidbits. First up in news, the wonderful people at KOSMOS have announced a new series of games besides the Exit series. These will be called the Adventure Games series.
Yeah, so these are going to be coming from Phil Walker Harding and Matthew Dunstan. Phil Walker Harding, you might know from games like Sushi Go, Baron Park, and Emotep.
All good games.
So yeah, he's got a pretty good
backlog of good designs.
Yeah, design. Yeah, there's a word I was looking for and I couldn't find it.
I keep filling in those words for you.
Yeah,
today.
you do.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you didn't fill in the word I was looking for, but close enough.
Yeah.
You got the idea across.
Yeah.
But they're working together to do this adventure series. They are going to be games for the first two, at least, are going to be games for 1 to 4 players, carrying an MSRP of £15 British sterling. So I don't know, 18-ish bucks here in the States. They are supposedly going to be a little bit more story driven.
I bet it's going to be $19.99.
Nah,
Sounds about right.
Yep.
Anyway, more story driven rather than puzzle driven in the Exit series. Non-destructible, so once you're done, they can be replayed, they can be sold, traded, whatever, replayed, reused. They're not one-offs like the Exit series are. The first 2 games that have been announced is The Dungeon for ages 12 and up, where you awaken in a prison cell in the Middle Ages with no memory of how you got there, and you're trying to get out. Over the course of 3 chapters, you jointly explore rooms, combine objects, and perhaps even encounter creatures that lurk in the dark rooms of the old castle. And then in the Monochrome AG for ages 16 and up, Players have been instructed to break into the research building named in the game's title. Once they get inside the tower's mirrored walls, they are left on their own to search the place and find what they might find. Both games are supposed to play out over 3 chapters, each chapter running about 75 minutes to play. So you could do it in a long session, the entire game in a long session, but maybe split it up over a couple nights.
That also means basically the monochrome ink or like monochrome company or something like that. That's what the AG means in German.
Okay.
Yeah. See, because the names are actually given in German. So it's Das Verlies, which they have translated as the dungeon, and then just Die Monochrome AG, which I know that D is the in German.
It's it's probably going to come out as the monochrome company in English, I would assume.
Okay.
Yeah.
But that was the one they didn't translate. I was like, come on, guys. But I thought I could go with it.
Yeah, it seems cool. You get a lot. Like they say, each chapter is 75 minutes of content. There's 3 of those in here, and it's $20. That could be a good time to dollar amount investment for sure.
Correct.
Like how much is a regular exit game? About $15 or so.
Yeah, sounds about right.
Yeah.
And for the people that don't like that, you can destroy the exit game.
Yeah.
I know some people have a real big problem with that.
People are wrong.
And it seems like a lot of these have branching paths, so maybe it's replayable a little bit.
Yeah. I don't know about how replayable overall, but certainly reusable.
Yes. At worst, you could hand it off to a friend and be like, enjoy for the next 75 minutes times 3.
Yes. That's how I always tell people to enjoy games, is in time frames. It's like if I was going to hand somebody 18XX, I'd be like, enjoy for the next
3 to 8 hours.
Yeah.
Next up in news, Wizkids has a game coming out.
I mean, it is technically the definition of a game.
Technically, yes. It is called Thrown, as in throwing dice, but it is also a trick-taking game.
Yeah.
Now Adrian's interested. Oh, a trick-taking game, but we can put dice in there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I'd first seen this before we started recording, I was like, hey, Adrian, here's a game that you will absolutely despise in one sentence.
Yep. So in this game, each of the colors of dice represents a suit. So whoever is the lead player takes 1 to 3 dice of a given color and rolls them, and everybody else rolls with them, trying to get the highest value on the table. If you don't have dice of that color, you can roll for trump by rolling a natural 6 on any offsuit card. So, which offsuit color, rather. So I might roll 3 green dice and get 18, 3 6s. And Jeff rolls in green and he gets 2 6s. And Zach doesn't have any green, so Zach rolls in not green, gets a 6, and then wins because dice fucky. Winning tricks give you gold. The game ends when there are a number of rounds played equal to the number of players. So with the 3 of us playing, we'd play 3 rounds. Whoever has the most gold wins. So super short, super simple.
I mean, you said you play any game under 10 minutes.
If it actually takes under 10 minutes, sure. There are cards in the game that give you special abilities that you pay for or activate with dice of certain colors. Things like flip your opponent's dice to their opposite sides, remove dice, reroll dice, or just win a roll. So in a game that plays in 3 rounds, you can just win a third of it because you got the right card. So that sounds fun. That sounds real fun. Components, 40 dice, gold tokens, 26 cards, 4 cubes, a set of rules, and a small box for an MSRP of $19.99. So it's at least cheap and sounds like it'll be short, because it certainly to me does not sound like it could ever possibly be good. So yeah, sorry, Wizkids. Not liking the sound of Throne.
No. Last up in news, a friendly local, maybe not local to us, but local to someone, game store put out a numbered list of their top 50 best-selling games of 2018, which kind of gives you a good window into what did people buy a lot of this year.
Well, what did people which they mention here that there's, although it is mostly a Euro game store, they're a top 100 Asmodee North America store in 2017. But most of their customer base are like new people, like who have heard of certain board games that have maybe gotten to a certain level of popularity, and then they go in and buy games, which greatly informs this list. topping it off.
And that's just sold this year, not games that came out this year.
Yes.
And they mentioned everything's MSRP.
Yep.
They sold these out.
Yeah. But yeah, number 1 with a bullet.
Yeah.
Azul.
Crazy. This is the only one they really numbered, but they said they sold over 200 copies in 2018. When did this come out?
Azul last year, I think.
Was it last year?
Mm-hmm.
The new edition or the new game of Azul came out this year, but yeah.
That's the Sagrada one.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was fairly recent.
Yes.
But everything else that you would probably suspect following that, Codenames, Cards Against Humanity, Exploding Kittens, Mysterium, which is basically a better Dixit at this point, and why Dixit is probably not on this list, because why buy Dixit when you can just buy Mysterium? Secret Hitler on there. And then the next classic, I guess, is Catan.
Yeah.
That's the
they've got some of the exit games, which are cool.
Pandemic's on here.
Yeah. I mean, basically
Splendor.
a lot of
All the standard like intro ones, and then a decent amount of like party games like Exploding Kittens, Imploding Kittens,
various Codenames versions.
What do you mean?
Flux.
Yeah.
Skull in stores. For a while, that wasn't a thing.
True.
Yeah.
Monopoly Deal card game.
That was all the way at the bottom. Number
All the way at the
50.
Which I wish he had included. So he said that they sold roughly over 200 copies of Azul. I wish he had mentioned like what the number 50 on the list had sold, so you'd have an idea of the range that they sold over a year. Because Azul, like 200 in a year is pretty good.
Yeah. Gloomhaven, not even close.
No.
I'm sure it's 51.
They addressed that they had a hard time keeping Gloomhaven copies.
In stock.
Well, and just space-wise, they couldn't really justify it.
One copy to sit there for a while.
Because he even says, Gloomhaven is the exception, as our store is about the size of 2 tennis courts, and even if we could get more, it may not be worth losing the space. So, yeah. Kind of an interesting list of stuff. It'll be on the show notes if you want to look it over.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's it for news.
Indeed. That's all the news.
Then we move on to the non-existent Kickstarter, because there ain't no good Kickstarters this week.
Yeah.
It's nothing that we were interested in, at least.
It's the dead times for Kickstarter.
Weird. Like right around Christmas, somebody want to be like, hey, let's get this thing. You just spent a shitload of money on everybody. Would you like to just go ahead and buy some more stuff for things you wouldn't get for a long time?
Well, and then somebody's like, I'm about to go on vacation to be with my family. Let's make sure that I add a bunch of stress by launching a Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Like all of those software companies that are like, hey, when's a good time to launch software? Between Christmas and New Year.
Yep.
That'll make our software devs real happy.
I'm sure Paul has gone through that on multiple occasions.
I know Nick and Richard have, that's for sure.
Yeah. I saw David making some Facebook post about that this year. He was like, why would you release on the Friday before Christmas? Why?
Mm-hmm. That's it for Kickstarters.
Yeah, that's it.
Kickstarter's all done. So we can move on to listener feedback.
Yes.
No new emails.
One old email.
Well, you didn't let me finish. I said no new emails.
Sorry, I just assumed you were saying something wrong.
No. However,
I'm with you, Zach.
It was brought to our attention mainly because good friend of the show, our lead Australian listener,
sent us a passive aggressive comment.
Yeah, I was like, "Hey guys, I sent you an email. When do I when does it get read?"
No, that's not how he said it. He said it of
you got it pulled up.
Yeah, let's. Oh no, I don't have it pulled up, but it's.
He's basically I guess I'm never going to hear my email on the show.
Exactly.
We're like, what email?
Passive aggressive. But yeah, we did some digging, and turns out we missed one. We failed. Turns out we're fallible. We're human.
Yep.
We very rarely make mistakes.
No, only Adrian.
Yep.
We as a group, rarely. So this one's from Matt. He says, welcome back. This is also from like the first week in December.
Oh, yeah. It was like when we took that 1 week break.
From
basically.
Thanksgiving. Yeah. Hey, Mile High Game G's. Hope you're all going well and glad your studio is nearly 100%. Is it?
It's still nearly 100%.
It is still nearly 100%.
Yeah.
He's still right. Yeah.
Yep. I was about to completely agree with Zach that since backing Rising Sun, I have to back right off Kickstarter, but I looked at my list and whilst I slowed, I did go all in for Black Orchestra and Hero Realms. I also did Hero Realms. Black Orchestra was pretty early this year, right? Or maybe it was the packs, the character sheet
maybe.
things.
It's been so long.
Yeah, it's been so long. When I first got into Kickstarter, everything was gold and amazing, but it feels like everything is very samey. I either own a game similar, or I look at the shipping and time to Australia and back off.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Yeah. It's like, what's double the price for shipping
That's
to
how we
Australia?
save money on board games, is go to Australia, where it's just too expensive to buy board games.
Yeah, there you go. Then you're just never going to buy a board game.
Yeah,
then.
exactly.
Well, it's nice, a nice sunny Friday afternoon, and I'm about to have a few drinks. The most Australian listener, Matt.
Hopefully they were good drinks.
Hopefully.
I'm sure they've already passed through his system now. So.
One would hope.
Well, they certainly didn't kill him, so they weren't bad drinks.
That's true, because we wouldn't have gotten the passive-aggressive
Correct.
comment.
We would have
otherwise.
never known.
Emails.
Unless he just left it as like it is on his grave.
He has it in his will. Like,
Remind
make them read this fucking email.
Emails at milehighgameguys.com if you would like to send us an email.
Next up on listener feedback for this episode, we head to YouTube, where Paulo's Corner has been hopping with activity lately. Smoking. First up comes from a few weeks ago on episode 122, Penguin Court, which, what? Where I don't remember where Penguin Court came from.
That was from when you were shitting all over Dized to animated tutorial thing.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
No, I mean, it was when I made a joke about Ice Cool Legacy, he wasn't sure. And then we're like, what happens if you launch a penguin off? And then we're like, then it's murder. And the rest of the game now deals with you getting tried for murder in Penguin Court.
Yes.
And he goes, Penguin Court. And when we were doing the episode, right, when I heard that, I was like, there's the name of the episode.
Okay. See, Jeff and I never know what the episode titles are because Zach decides them in editing.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so we're sometimes like, oh yeah, I remember that joke. And then other times it's like, oh wait, what the fuck? Anyway, first comment on the YouTube for Penguin Court, episode 122, comes from M, who says, we occupy all the spaces. Disappointed in the lack of Bloody Minute. Merry Christmas, game guys. Hopefully you had a Merry Christmas as well, M. Paulo follows up also on episode 122. Great episode once again, guys. Wishing you all a fantastic Christmas. Thank you. It was pretty good. Hope yours was nice, Paulo. I like how much they're getting along over there in Paulo's Corner. They're coexisting nicely. Next up on our City of Gears review, Paulo says, we'll be playing this for sure because one of the guys in the group backed this on Kickstarter. Thanks for the episode, guys. Then on the Grizzled review, again, Paulo, long one here, buckle in.
Like 2 sentences?
Like 3.
Oh, shit.
Maybe more.
All right, I should get up just so I can sit down again.
Correct. OMG, you had screwed up the rules for this one a lot.
That was the tradition of the Grizzled.
Accurate. We also fucked up one rule when we started playing that made the game so much more difficult. It was another level of difficulty. During the morale drop phase, what you are supposed to do is 1, total the number of cards remaining in players' hands. 2, move this many cards with a minimum of 3 from the morale pile to the trials pile. What we were doing was 1, total the number of cards remaining in players' hands. 2, move this many cards plus 3 from the morale pile to the trials pile. It was a slaughter each time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's rough when we get 4.
Mhm.
Like when we have 4 cards in hand. Imagine 7 going in instead of 4.
Yeah.
When you succeed at a mission.
Yeah.
Oh, we succeeded at the mission, but we now have more cards in there than when we started.
Yes.
Great.
Super.
It was a slaughter each time. It was pretty much impossible to have a slight chance of winning, but I think we managed to do it once. All in all, The Grizzled is an amazing game, one of my favorite co-ops of all time. As soon as the Armistice Edition was available here in Europe, I bought it without having sold my base game and expansion. That's how much I love this one. I managed to sell what I had pretty much the next day I ordered the Armistice Edition. Still haven't played it, but can't wait to see the new stuff in it. So, next up, we go to episode 123.
God, you were not kidding. There's a lot of comments.
Oh, yeah. Episode 123, An Awkward Turn, where M says, I'm only here for the comments.
Good.
No. And then that's it.
Oh.
That's the most recent one.
And then the liking, the commenting, and the subscribing.
Right.
Yeah. So, thank you, M and Paulo, for all of the feedback on the last few episodes.
Very much so.
Indeed. That brings this episode to a close. So, yeah, hopefully you all enjoyed it. It's good to be back and have games to actually talk about. Good thing we didn't have Kickstarter, otherwise it'd be a really long episode, but it is what it is. Wednesday episodes are always sponsored by Gray Fox Games. They sent us and everyone else on their newsletter recently an audio file. I think we should listen in. They
got a mysterious tape reel.
Yeah,
it was so old they weren't sure how to play it. Yeah. Someone helped them out, and they've digitally recorded it for us.
Yes. So here it is.
The BBC presents Life with the Lion.
We interrupt this broadcast for a special news bulletin alert. We've learnt that a massive unidentified object, a saucer, has crash-landed near Dorney in northern Scotland. It's too early to say for sure where it came from. However, government sources have told us the craft appears similar to the one that landed near Woking several years ago. That landing came ahead of an attempted alien invasion that left hundreds of thousands dead. Those nearby are being evacuated. In the meantime, the Ministry of Defense is urging citizens to remain calm. Stay tuned to this station for the latest developments.
Sounds old-timey.
Ye oldie-timey.
Ye oldie-timey. I could only imagine it might have something, maybe, to do with their new game that's coming in December. It's a follow-up to War of the Worlds.
War of the Worlds. The new wave. The next wave?
Next wave.
Next wave.
Yeah.
Great comic.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I didn't know it was one.
Well, but it's not War of the Worlds related, but there is a comic book called Next Wave, and it's great.
Oh, okay. Jeff, do you have a prepared statement to go along with this sponsor spot?
Absolutely. Gray Fox Games, quality games cleverly crafted. Also, the foibles of politics and the march of time can turn friends into enemies just as easily as the wind changes. Ridiculous, isn't it?
Very ridiculous. Cool. That wraps everything up. That's everything. Be sure to tune in on Friday for our 2018 look back. Now that we're in 2019, ostensibly, we will look back.
We can now officially look back at all of 2018.
We'll put on our rose-colored glasses and just get all nostalgic about 2018.
Or our bad memories.
Something like that. Yeah. But we'll have a bunch of best ofs like we always do, components, art, gameplay, shit like that. Zach will have a special themed awards list.
Of some sort.
Maybe. I believe Star Wars this time.
That is correct.
That has been leaked. It has been leaked. So start imagining, dear listener, what Star Wars related awards Zach could be giving out and what games might win them.
Okay.
Who's going to win the Jar Jar Binks award?
I'm glad I get to know in just a few minutes. And not everyone else that has to wait days.
I know. Yeah, we'll have
Spoiler alert, there's not a Jar Jar one.
No! But yeah, so be sure to check that out. I always like doing our end of episodes. I like hearing Zach's special awards. He keeps them very tightly under wraps. So even Jeff and I don't know until he actually reads them. Yeah, check out the episode and hopefully you enjoy it. And then we'll be back next week with another Wednesday Banter episode. Hopefully maybe starting to get news and Kickstarters and things going.
Fingers crossed.
Again, we'll see. So look forward to all of that stuff. And as always, if you want to get a hold of us, there are plenty of ways to do so. You can send us emails.
Emails at milehighgameguys.com.
You can find us over on Twitter where I tweet under at MHGameGuys.
I am Zach_MHGG.
I am Jeff_MHGG.
You can join our Board Game Geek Guild number 2731, to participate in episode threads and the like. Give us your feedback and thoughts on games before or after we review them, or discussions before or after we discuss them, etc., etc. Also, be sure to check out show notes over at milehighgameguys.com or on your podcast app of choice for links to the Slack channel, where you are more than welcome to join us in all sorts of inane ramblings all the time.
Day in, day out.
Constant.
Yes.
We welcome it. Except for Jeff, who only shows up when somebody tags him 3 times in a row. So.
Or I'm on break.
Or he's on break.
Not busy not driving a forklift or something.
Correct. Yeah. So, yeah, that's everything. That's all she wrote. So thanks everybody for listening. As always, I've been your host, Adrian.
I am still Zach.
And I am Ripper of Ding Dongs, Jeff.
Bye.
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 Media, where we all
bring something
to the table.
Pull up a chair
at punchboardmedia.com.